Tim is an absolute shitebag. I'm surprised Jamie stayed as calm as she did. Married at First Sight Australia, Tuesday the 11th of March, episode 6. And Elliot is a complete fucking dick, like we didn't know. He asked to speak to John. Why did he only ask to speak to John? Because he doesn't give a fuck what women think. To be fair, I don't think he gives a fuck what anybody thinks, but John is a man, so at least he can have a conversation with him without falling asleep. We already know that Elliot wants a younger woman so that she can be controlled, and we know that he wants her to not have a profession so that she has to come to him and ask him for money and he can be totally in control, and she can't buy herself any fancy handbags or anything that might cost over $9.99. But when he said he was looking for a librarian type, it sent me fucking spiralling. The stereotype of a librarian would be somebody who's quiet, meek, possibly not very confident, maybe doesn't have a lot of experience with men. Now that is just a stereotype because you get librarians out there who are fucking wild. But in his mind he's just wanting somebody who's just going to be like, oh, okay, and just do whatever he says. It's fucking pathetic. The thing that gets me about some people that are in trad couples is that the women are just willing to do anything that the man says. Now I must admit that Lauren does seem to be a bit more independent, and she wanted to work as well as look after her husband and didn't want him to do menial tasks like the dishes. But he's just wanting a woman who's possibly not been with any other men, who's quiet, who's going to do everything that she's instructed, who doesn't want to buy anything for herself, who doesn't want to go travelling, who just wants to look after the kids and him, and that's it. So we already know that he is an egomaniac misogynist, but when he actually says he was looking for somebody like a librarian, I was like, you are a fucking embarrassment. I personally don't have anything against men being a bit masculine, but this is why I don't like men who think that they're too masculine, because it is toxic, and I don't care what MD says, it's toxic as fuck. To be honest, I don't think he comes across as that masculine. I think he's just an absolute fucking cunt. When it came time for the dinner party, Lauren showed up on her own. Now, I don't like Lauren, but at least she showed up. And then when everybody was saying, oh, maybe Elliot's scared, she was like, no, he's not scared, he just doesn't care. He's a man-child. 100%. But in my opinion, if you want to be a trad wife and you want to come home and say, oh, don't worry, I'll do the cooking, I'll do the cleaning, I'll look after the kids, don't empty that bin. That's a menial task, leave that to me. Then you're looking for somebody who's a man-child. Anyway, enough about they two fuckbags. Katie and Tim also came alone. Now, at least Tim showed up. Right, let's give him some credit where credit is due. But there wasn't really a point in him going because he just didn't answer any question that MD gave him. Now, I love reality TV, I'm invested. I watch this in Love Island every day and then I'll make a video. But I'm not so invested that I look into the backgrounds of the cast, because it's just not that interesting to me. However, a lot of people have been commenting and saying that Katie actually isn't a nice person. Read the newspaper. She wouldn't be in the newspaper over here anyway because I live in the UK. But people were saying that she wasn't really a successful businesswoman because her company went into liquidation or something. Now, I don't know, right, I've not read it, but people were saying that her company was like over 500,000 in debts and stuff. And then somebody said, confirm if you've read this as well, that she got somebody deported because they were 10 minutes late for work. And if that is true, that is shocking, right? I don't read any of these articles or anything, but let me know if you've heard the same thing. But anyway, let's concentrate on what's happening at the dinner party. So she was getting ready to go to the dinner party and she was saying that she hadn't heard from Tim and that she didn't really know what was going on. And then he says, oh, I thought she'd have reached out to me to see if I was okay. Why would she want to know if you're okay? Why? He says he didn't have her number. Okay, maybe he's not. You know what I mean? I haven't looked through his phone, but I do suspect that he's lying. When they were at the table, he had the audacity to say that he was the one putting in the effort. Now, as we know, it's highly edited, and he could be telling the truth, but from what we've seen, she was speaking to him, and she was saying, oh, do you like fishing? Do you like doing this? Asking him several questions, and he was literally just like, oh no, I'm not really interested in that. No, I don't really like that. So even just from that short conversation, it looks as if he's talking absolute shite. But when Lauren was saying that Elliot left because he says that he wanted like 5 kids and she wanted 1, he was like, oh, we're not so bad now, blah, blah, blah. And then he went over and he was talking to the guys and he says, oh, I mean, she didn't even ask me if I wanted kids. That's because she couldn't get a fucking syllable out your lips, you dick. She said that on the first night he came to the door and he says to her there was no spark, should I leave? And then he sat there and said, oh, Elliot left, I would never have left you. Then why did he ask if she wanted him to leave? Does he have a multiple personality disorder, or is he just a complete fucking cunt? So she's obviously got no confidence whatsoever, we know that for the start. But she's going, oh, I'm not very experienced, or like maybe it was me and maybe I could have put more effort in. Aye, okay, it's easy to make somebody who's got no confidence feel like that. And I'm not saying that she has got no blame whatsoever, right, because we weren't there. We don't really know what happened. But from what we've seen, she was putting in effort and he was just sitting like, like fucking saying nothing. It was like fucking trying to get blood out of stone. Meanwhile, Jamie's sitting across the table. She's got her eye on him. She's like, what's this cunt bag up to? I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but me and Jamie are the same. I don't know how she stayed as calm as she did, to be honest. Like, I would have been going mental as well. I'm not the sort of person who will sit and watch somebody being gaslit or spoke down to. And I was like, good for you, Jamie, at least fucking somebody's taking a stand and paying attention to what's going on. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's not her relationship, it's none of her business, but that's the point in the dinner party. The point is for all the couples to get together, talk about what's been happening, see if they can help each other, give each other advice, or whatever else. So it is her business, and every time anybody asked him a question, he just totally changed the subject, and it was actually cringy as fuck. Now, what I will say in Tim's defence is, I listened to a small clip of a podcast that was on TikTok, and his best friend at the time, but best man at the wedding, he said that he hadn't really spoke to him since the wedding. He thought that him and Katie were a good match, and he was not saying very nice things about her, and then apparently he's lost his job. Now, everybody knows that he's like deleted all his social media and stuff, but apparently he lost his job because of something that happened at the first dinner party. But I don't think that anything happened at that first dinner party that warrants him losing his job. Like, okay, he's got a type. That's another thing, right? Katie was sitting and she says, oh, why don't you tell them what you said about your type? But she asked him. We've seen her asking him, what's your usual type? Then when he said something that she didn't like, it's now an issue. And to me, he can have whatever type he wants. Okay, he's not skinny, but he's still allowed to prefer skinnier people if that's what he likes. My issue was never that he had a type. My issue was the way he spoke to her and the comments that he made about her. I'm assuming that him and Katie are totally split up now and they're not going to be at any more dinner parties. So I genuinely don't see that he's done anything to give a company a reason to sack him. I don't know, I don't understand. Funnily enough, somebody left a comment in one of my other videos and we were talking about people going on to Mafs for fame. And this guy left a comment saying, men don't care about fame, they're not so shallow, we like a good looking woman. And I says the literal definition of being shallow is only going with somebody for their looks. So this guy doesn't even fucking know what shallow means, and he's in my comments. Oh, fucking losers. Another person commented to say that these two are actually actors because she travels with her sister and there's loads of pictures of them online and he's got like new profiles on all his videos and that look really professional, so that's interesting. While I was watching the dinner party, I was freaked out by these two because they've got very similar personalities. The two of them are absolutely fucking in love with themselves, and now that he's shaved, they look quite similar. I feel like they need to get a DNA test because I've got a creepy feeling that they might be related. Anyway, let me know what you thought of that episode, and I don't live in Australia, so feel free to tell me all the gossip in the comments, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!